Hi guys, I hope all of you are doing well. This is your Nifty Guy. Welcome to yet another episode of Decoding Nifty with me. This is the channel on which we decode Nifty on multiple time frames daily to find out the best probable trade setup for the next trading session, right? Uh, So whoever is new to this channel, in case if you like the content that I'm posting, if you like the way I analyze Nifty and I give the trade ideas, or how I teach how to read price action, how to build a story around the price, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your trading friends. Uh, Also put down anything that you might have in the comments box, be it feedback, criticism, or any question that you might have for me. I'm open to everything, right? On that note, we'll just start with what we had analyzed yesterday versus what happened in the market today and how we traded that, right? Most of you who would have watched the short that I put down during market hours would already be aware that we had a bumper day today in the market, right? Nothing to get excited about. Such days are rare, but when they do come, right? And you have to have your skin in the game so that you can capitalize on these days. So yesterday, what we had discussed was yesterday we had hit our SL around here. Our plan was to go long around here, but the price action reverse immediately hitting our stop losses, right? But we had a similar setup for today. So our plan was to go long above this particular high with a pullback, right? And the markets opened slightly gap down, started going down. Right? I was also mentally prepared because we had a plan of shorting the markets below yesterday's low with the pullback. Markets came very low to yesterday's close, did not break that, right? Now, please focus on how I always tell that it is very, very important to build a story around what the price is trying to do. Markets started on a bearish note, but did not break yesterday's low, right? Then formed a new high, crossing day's high. Now, should we have taken a trade over here? I always emphasize on taking a trade in case of candles such as these, where the open equals to high, right? Theoretically, this would have been a good trade if we were above this particular zone. But because we are trading already inside yesterday's trading zone, this would not have been a favorable trade. And as you can see, it reversed immediately. And in case, just don't look at this particular price action. This happened much later on. In case you would have entered a bullish trade over here, it would have hit your stop loss, right? Then again came this particular move, which again created a lower high as well as a higher high, right? So the price action that was being formed early in the morning was showing some bullishness. Then it broke out of our previous day's high, the zone that we had marked, gave a small red candle. I I will tell my entry later on. I'll tell the entry as per the trade plan. The entry would have been above this particular red candle's high and with an SL as small as below this particular red candle itself, right? With a very, very small SL. And look at the kind of RR trade that we have here. I'll just put the SL was very small compared to the risk of almost 1 is to 16 and 16.75. 1 is to 17 risk reward trade, right? Now I understand capturing the entire thing is not possible for everybody. I'll come down to that later. Now you guys would be surprised if I tell you my entry was much before this candle or much before this breakout actually happened, right? As I have also mentioned in my previous videos, I'm very big on trend lines on Nifty. What I could see was a trend line coming like this, a trend line from yesterday's high around here. Sorry, this was a trend line that I drew. I actually delete the trend lines before the market, before making the videos, so that I can draw it in front of you. You can see what is the way I'm looking at. So once market had created this high and gave a move down, this low was created. So I joined these two. This trend line was created, and I joined these two highs and this trend line was created. Now, I did not trade this particular breakout, right? Why? Again, two reasons. We were already inside yesterday's trading range. Plus, for a breakout to be successful, there's one rule that I always focus on, and I'll keep on repeating that until unless you get the heck of it. Need a pullback, right? The pullback did come. Now try to understand why a pullback is so important. The pullback came took an exact support from the trend line that was drawn around here. And once the market started moving up, I entered on this particular candle, which when it broke this particular high, the red candle's high, right? And I had placed the SL right below it. And my plan of action was, because our original plan of entry was above this, I planned to add more quantities in case of we get a pullback, or else I would have traded like I handle all the other trades that I do, right? So in this case, I added some more quantities around here when this pullback was taken out, and it was around 23,600 when I recorded the video that yesterday's trade is giving us. So we took a SL yesterday, and today's trade has already, although based on the same setup, has already given us a very good reward, right? And just imagine, in case if you would have that psychological breakage, that blockage, that yeah, I took this particular breakout trade yesterday, even when the pullback had come, and still I took an SL. If in case you would have missed this trade today, look at what you would have missed, right? So this is the confidence I think everyone should have in their trade setups. The day right next the day, when the day before we just took an SL on the same setup, and the next day we can trade confidently, and we have planned to trade in a way wherein we have also added quantities on this particular pullback. There were no further quantities that I added, right? And I rode it all the way till around 3 p.m., right? I'll tell you the exact reason how or exact rationale behind how I trailed this particular trade, so that you guys can also catch a trade like this once it happens in the future. And uh, I have immense pleasure in telling me that while I took an SL of around 17 points yesterday, on the same setup today, I have captured more than 200 points in option premiums. I traded in the next week option expiry. I captured more than 200 plus premium. You do what I lost yesterday versus what I made today. You do the math, right? So as I tell, it is not important if you hit an SL or if you hit your target. What is important is how much you lose when you are wrong versus how much do you make when you're right. And this is the kind of confidence that I have on my setup because I have back tested it on for multiple years, right? I have gone back multiple years. I've back tested it on each particular day, and that is the reason I have this particular confidence on this setup, that even though we had taken a SL yesterday, I still went ahead and took this trade very, very confidently. So that is something that I want all of you to imbibe, right? That is something which is a very, very good quality to learn. Now, coming to the trailing part. So, see, today's trade was ex actually very easy. Once you entered the market, actually, this particular move that came in gave a good buffer to you, right? So since you are in option buying trade, you are already in a good buffer. What you can actually do is trail by, there are two to three methods that I use. So number one is, in case if you want, you can trail it on a 5 minutes time frame in case of any candle closing below the previous 5 minutes candle, right? In case if this candle would have closed around here, you would have taken an SL. So let us see by that method. I did not use that method today, but by that method, you got a exit around here, if I'm not wrong. But what I was specifically looking today was a candle which would give me a candlestick reversal pattern. For that, I needed three conditions. I needed a high which was lower than the previous candle's high, uh, low which was lower than the previous candle's low, and a closing below previous candle's low, right? Which happened much, much later, around somewhere around this candle, but I exited around 3 p.m., right? I do not carry forward any trades post 3 p.m. Although, honestly, be told, I was tempted to carry forward this trade. I had a huge buffer. You can understand, I had a huge, huge buffer in case of even something of bad or negative happening, trade happening. I could have at max got an out call, but that would also be not a scenario. So I had a good buffer, but still, I decided not to break my trading rules, and I stuck to whatever what I do best is what I trade intraday basis, and I did not carry forward anything. And this is how this trade was taken and how it was trailed. So it is very, very important to have confidence on your setups because you have back tested them. You know they work most of the times. They will fail because markets are irrational, right? Sometimes you'll do everything by the books, everything right, and still you will the market will take your SL. On worst days, the market will take your SL and then again move back in your direction in the same day, right? So that those days are the worst days. So that's it, guys. This is how market behaves. So I hope you guys would have learned something. today, plus this particular breakout that was there at another point. So if you see, market was in this particular big range. It was a big range from 275 to 450 around. This was a big range in which the market was stuck for the last 2 days. So this was also a range breakout, right? After being in a sideways consolidation where SLs were taken up and down, market gave a good breakout, and that was something that should not have been missed, right? So any day, any time when you see the markets are in a range of in a sideways range and then they give a breakout or breakdown, please do not miss those trades. Similar examples here, market were in a range, breakdown, broke down, and you can look at what was the trade that was there. And in case if you also look at right, market were in a range, this was a big range was there, and once it broke out of it, just look at the rally that we had witnessed, right? So these are certain price action principles that you guys need to follow. I'll just delete these lines. They hold no more meaning for us for tomorrow. Now, for the next week, right? We have a good long weekend again. A lot of trading holidays in the month of April, but we'll start with the weekly time frame, right? So on a weekly time frame, we are again at this particular resistance zone, which I had already marked out previously in one of my videos. We are at a very good resistance zone, right? The weekly candle has been good. It had opened up above this particular zone and it had continued its journey upwards throughout the week. Now, coming down to the daily candle, daily time frame, the only thing worrying me is the momentum or the parabolic move in which the market has gone up. In case if it would have gone up in a slower way, taken its time, given us some consolidation on the way, I would have been much happier. But again, we have to look at cluster of evidences, right? FIIs have been buying for the last 3, 4 days in the cash market. Does that mean FIIs are back, or are they just loading up their arsenal to dump and sell again? That is something we'll find out when it comes. As I say, do not predict, but try to be prepared for anything. The weekly time frame divergence, which I spoke about, has finally been upheld, and we saw this good up move in this particular week, right? The daily divergence was also there on this particular, if you compare these two lows, and divergence was there. So these are all some evidences which you look at, and right now we need a good closing. So the trade plan for Monday would be very, very simple. I'll just shift to the 15 minutes time frame. All right. Sorry. Sorry for that. I'll delete this. We will create a long entry above today's high, which is also see if you look at, this is the resistance zone that we was marked on our charts, pre-marked on our charts since a long time, and markets halted right at that particular in that zone, right? So we'll look at creating a long above this particular high. For now, I will try to avoid any short entries because of this particular move. But see, market can give us some retracement. What I would say is let us, for safety sake, just mark the 0.5 to 0.618 zone of this particular consolidation and the up move which was there, right? Let's not complicate it any further. So in case this is majorly from yesterday's or day before yesterday's low till today's high, the 50% retracement zone. Let's change the color to yellow so that we don't get confused. And we will take we can plan a small short trade. Uh, sorry, this is a mess. We'll plan a short trade below this, right? But again, word of caution, short trade right now in this scenario to be played with half quantities, limited quantities, with very strict SL and very strict trailing, right? Uh, I hope next few days would be good for us in trading as well as for our portfolios. The portfolios have been shining as well. So that this is it. That is it from me for today. I hope you guys are liking my content. Please, it's a sincere request, like, subscribe, comment. That would help me, motivate me to put out the content that I'm putting out, right? So that is something that I will need from you guys. And have a good weekend. I'll see you guys again soon. Cheers. Have a good day. Thank you so much.